Hi friends! So a while back, I did a video reviewing a kit from the subscription box Adults and Crafts. Remember that wood burning one? I haven't worked on a kit from them in a while, but the subscription never stopped.
Oh, that's a lot of boxes.
So this week, I want to see how many of them I can get through. First, let's work on this Shadowbox kit. Inside we have parts of the box, some plastic film, acrylic paint, an electric candle, let's try that over here, a sponge, 2 paintbrushes, and some glue. It looks like first we're going to have to put the box together. Seems easy enough. Absolutely not. No. I love you, but no. 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 This is like 3 minutes wasted of you. The instructions say to put glue in the seams. These pieces already fit together pretty snugly, so if I was doing something aggressive enough for the pieces to come apart, I'm not sure the glue is going to save it. While that's drying, I cut this fancy plastic acetate to fit each side. I probably could have measured to save myself some time, but I didn't want to. I guess you're supposed to use this acrylic paint to paint a design on the acetate, and I had a brilliant idea to paint a sort of gradient in sunsetty colors, but I overestimated not only this paint, but my actual abilities. Get ready to cringe for a minute. First I painted on each color of the gradient. Then I went back in with a second coat to try and blend it. And that looks like poop. Not only does it not look like a sunset or a gradient, but the paint is weird and lumpy and shiny. I did notice that the paint kind of scratched off, so I was hopeful that I could just pull all the paint off the plastic and start over, but nope. This was as far as I got with that. I did briefly consider trying to track down new pieces of plastic acetate, but then I just decided to use plastic sleeves instead. So let's try this again. This time I decided to use a sponge brush. That should help with the gradient, right? Nope, I still hated it. So I just threw another piece of plastic on top and smooshed it around. Remember doing that kind of thing when you were in elementary art class? I was getting really tired of spending so much time on this to just look like butt, so I decided to embrace it and just make a mess for the rest of the plastic. To try and make it a little more opaque and cover up some of the thinner areas, I dabbed on some yellow paint. While that hot mess was drying, I painted the outside of the box a dark blue. I really don't like this paint. It's weird and shiny. Finally, it's time to put this abomination together. I just glued the plastic pieces in with more school glue. And here it is done. Luckily, the cutouts on the box hide the majority of the mess I made with the plastic sheets. I don't hate this, but I don't love it either. We're not even friends, we're just like co-workers that you're not that close to. Next, I'm going to do this glass etching kit. It comes with pre-made stencils and supplies to make your own. Different glass pieces to etch. There's my ring light again. Brushes, etching cream, and gloves. Gloves? You know, taking all the pieces out of the box, I'm starting to get a little worried. I tend to do crafts that are kind of silly, but there's no real chance of danger. Unless you count that time I let a scalding hot piece of metal roll into my lap. Since I always decide to go way too big on my first try at anything, I decided to make my own stencils. Sort of. I printed them off on the computer, but I did still have to trace and cut them. I feel like most glass etching designs you see are serious and pretty and mature. There's not a donut panda in sight. So I went with angel wings for the candle jar. Of course I wanted 2 sets so they would be opposite each other, so I had to do this twice. Then I had to cut them out with an X-Acto knife. Thinking back, maybe picking the most razor-thin outline wasn't the best idea. For the coasters, I picked 4 different flower designs. I did try to at least pick designs that had larger pieces connected to save myself the trouble of floating pieces in the middle of the stencil. But these were still a pain to cut out. Then I cleaned all the glass pieces and put the stencils on. Finally, gloved up, it was time for the etching cream. Both the kit instructions and the bottle of etching cream have very specific amounts of time for the cream to sit on the glass, but those times don't match. Plus, I really didn't want to have to run to the sink 6 times, so trying to be efficient, always a big mistake, I decided to just do them all in a row. Finally, when I was done, I rinsed them off. The angel wings look okay, but since I was trying to do all the pieces at once, I wasn't keeping a very good eye on this, and the cream dripped down beneath the stencil. The flower coasters mostly look good, but there's a couple of places where it did bleed a little underneath the stencil, and also somehow I got some cream on the edges of the coaster, but overall they didn't come out too bad. Even though these aren't perfect, I do actually really like them. I'm pretty proud of them considering how ambitious they were. There's time for one last kit if I can keep it kind of simple. So let's do this metal stamping kit. It came with a hammer, a really heavy metal base, some round metal charms, and this box of letter and number stamps. In a separate bag, it came with a few pieces of jewelry and some charms. I thought this kit was going to be kind of boring, but I'm actually getting a little bit excited. First, let's practice a little bit on these metal charms. The instructions say to tape the charm down to the block, measure it out, and find the middle. But I didn't feel like finding a ruler, so I skipped that part. I decided to start with something that I saw on the instructions. It's an ILY.
That means I love you.
You're supposed to start in the middle and hammer each letter 10 to 12 times. Bella super enjoyed this. She barked at me each time I hammered. Don't bark at me! It's also especially fun when the stamp doesn't indent enough, and then you have to try to get the stamp back in the exact same spot to try again. Here's my first letter. It's not too bad. After finishing the first practice piece, it could be better. For some reason the L is taller than the I, and the Y is missing its butt. The directions said you can color in the stamped part with a marker and wipe off the outside to make it more visible. Does that help? Alright, for my second try, I decided to actually go locate a ruler. Here it is compared with the first try. It looks more even, but the Y is still buttless for some reason. One more try with this. The L is too tall again, but the Y is all the way there. And after trying marker on it again, it doesn't look too bad. Here's the 3 tries in a row. Did it get better? Can you even tell a difference? Great. Moving on. Now it's time to try it on some not practice pieces. I made a keychain for a friend, a necklace for my sister, and a couple of charms for a necklace for myself. The keychain came out the best in my opinion. The letters are crisp and mostly straight. The necklace is not quite as even. Evelyn is my niece's name, by the way. I made a circle charm for myself, which came out kind of uneven, and a star with an R on it. On the star charm, the R went on a little bit of a walk on the first try, so I redid it on the other side, and then painted a little bit of nail polish over the mess up so you couldn't see it. All in all though, I don't really think metal stamping is the craft for me. That's all the time I have for this week. Here's the craft kits I still have left. Let me know what you'd like to see me try next. Don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to see more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.